Well, Josh Morris, you're dressed head to toe in your Blues jersey. I'm wearing red, but that doesn't mean that I'm in support of the Maroons. I'm all behind the Blues tonight for Origin. Can't wait. Kickoff is not too far away.
Yeah, I was going to get straight into you about that colour choice today. You are blue through and through, and hopefully as the game gets a bit closer, that colour changes. I'm sure the wardrobe team might have another coat for you to wear, but I can't wait. I cannot wait for tonight. The anticipation's building nicely. Um, it's set for a New South Wales victory, and we'll take it up to Brisbane for a third game. But we've got to talk about this week's games coming up as well.
Yeah, we absolutely do. Let's focus on Clubland because there is so much to play there. Obviously, it kicks off with the Dogs and the Sharks. Dogs, $2.42. Sharks, $1.56. They are the heavy favourites here, the Sharks.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the Doggies, they're a different team completely. But the Sharkies, they had the bye. The Doggies had a close loss to the Roosters. For the Doggies, Blake Taft comes in for Connor Tracy, who was on the end of that nasty high shot, so he's there for the HIA protocols. Bronson Cherry comes back into the centres. Crichton's named in the reserves, but I'd imagine he would play, so that would probably force Carraz back to the wing, and Skelton potentially misses out there. For the Sharkies, they only have the one change from the side that lost to the Dolphins. Hao Tapuya is in for Braden Worley. The Dogs, against top four teams, their record isn't crashed. They've lost their last 18 versus teams in the top four, but I think they're a different side. I'm leaning towards the Sharks purely because after they had that embarrassing loss against Penrith at home, they went up to Brisbane and put on an absolute class clinic against the Broncos, and I think they'll be ready to go off the bye. They'll be fresh. Nico Hines, point to prove. So, yeah, I think the Sharks in this one.
Up next, we've got the Knights, $1.79. The Eels, $2 too. Not much really separating these two teams. But the Eels, they are on the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. I think I had them in my top 8 this year, the Eels, but it just goes to show the impact that players like Mitch Moses and Clint Gutherson have on the side. Both teams have had the bye, so they will be fresh. For the Knights, we see Will Price finally make his debut at 5'8", so I'm really looking forward to that. There's been big raps on him. I think Joey Johns has been calling for him to be in the side for a number of weeks. Kai Pearce-Paul comes back onto the bench, so both the Englishmen are in the lineup. For the Eels, Moses has been named, so he'll have to wait to see how he pulls up. Mike Acevo's back from his hamstring injury that forces Sean Russell to the centres, and Matt Dury comes in. But Matt Arthur, the son of Brad Arthur, makes his debut this week, fresh off an under-19s victory for the New South Wales side. So Para have won their last 6 versus Newey, but they have lost 7 of their last 8. So it's form lines that you can't really read too much into here. Look, for me, I'm tipping Newcastle here. I think they'll get the Newcastle faithful a win that they've been waiting for. So it is a flip of the coin in that one. I think it'll be close, but I'm tipping the Knights.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Castrians will be up for that one indeed. Up next, Storm, $1.15. Raiders, $5.20. That is huge. You'd have to say that's off the back of the performances the Raiders have put in last week. They were absolutely torn apart by the West Tigers. And the week before that, it was the Cowboys. Now they come up against the Storm outfit that is sitting right on top of this premiership ladder.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tip the Raiders at the moment, isn't it? I've tipped them the last 2 weeks. I thought at home against the Cowboys, they would be morals. They got taught a lesson. Then I thought that Ricky Stewart might have a little bit of an ambush mentality. Well, the Tigers were just far too good for them, which is concerning. And then they head down to Melbourne to try and beat them at home. The Storm have won 15 of their last 16 at home and won 9 of their last 10 versus an opponent ranked lower than them. So for me, Ryan Pappenhausen back in the side. I love watching him play. He's scored a try in 13 of his last 16 games at home. I can't see anything but a Storm victory here. And big, actually, 13 plus.
13 plus, yeah, I would have to say that. I'd agree with you in that one. Up next, we've got the Panthers, the Premiers, $1.31. Cowboys, $3.40 here. Do you think that is sort of fair in terms of the market there?
Yeah, look, I think so. I think both sides have had the bye. Penrith have named their Origin stars, but Mitch Kenny and Jack Cole both return. They both had little niggling injuries, which they were able to rest. And Matt Eisenhuth comes back onto the bench. For the Cowboys, they've named 5 of the 6 Origin stars. Jeremiah Nane has been rested. Obviously, he had a bit of a injury concern leading into the game. Finny Fuiaki starts. Jordan McLean comes back, and Jake Clifford is in the halves as well at the moment. But Penrith, they've won their last 15 versus opponents in the top 8, and they've won 10 of their last 11 after a bye, and 41 from 46 at home.
Wow.
I mean, that's an amazing record. So you pair that with the fact that the Cowboys have lost their last 5 at Bluebet, and all signs point to a big Penrith win here.
Yeah, absolutely they do. Up next, the Roosters, $1.24. Tigers, $3.85. The Roosters have been hitting some form, but so too the West Tigers. Last 2 weeks, they look like they're really sort of hitting their straps and clicking for that young side.
Yeah, and the Roosters were challenged against the Dogs in trying conditions. Sam Walker, I thought, was outstanding for the Roosters. For the Tigers, the last 2 weeks they have looked like a completely different team, and they brought in another debutant last week, and he managed to score a try in Luke Lillies. For the Roosters, Tupanua comes back into the centres for Junior Pauga, who's obviously got that big suspension. The Roosters, I like their side, what they've done, and they've pushed Lindsay Collins to the bench for the fact that he is playing tonight, obviously, so he'll get a bit less minutes, but Terrell May has been in outstanding form for the Roosters. For the Tigers, they've got David Clemmer coming back in, so that's a huge boost for them. They could potentially welcome back Justin Olam and John Bateman. They are in the extended reserves, so there might be a late change there. Look, the Tigers have got nothing to lose, and after 2 wins, they'll be super confident, but the Roosters, they've won 17 of their past 18 versus the Tigers, and Tigers have lost 14 of their last 15 away games. So I think at Allianz, the Roosters are trying to turn that into a fortress, and I think they'll get a big win here. But I think the Tigers will put up a good fight.
Yeah, absolutely. All signs point to the Roosters, but no doubt Benji Marshall will have them high on confidence. They've got a young team there, so no doubt there could be an upset on the cards in that one. Just lastly, get your tips on some of the other games. Warriors, Broncos?
Yeah, this one's a hard one, isn't it? Because we don't know who the Broncos, they have named their stars, but Kevy needs them to start winning because they're starting to get out of touch with that top 4. And then the Warriors, I mean, they were trampled by the Titans by 60 points. No Sean Johnson, but I guess they were playing some really decent football when he wasn't there as well. And Andrew Webster expects a response there. I've gone with the Broncos, but you just don't know. After a hurt side like that, the Warriors could be on. But I'm tipping the Broncos.
Up next, Dragons and the Dolphins.
Yeah, for me, this one, it's got to be the Dolphins. They're just the way that they're playing. They don't beat themselves. They compete high. They're a Wayne Bennett coach side. And I just really enjoy watching them play. They're never out of the contest, so I'll tip the Dolphins in that one.
So much to get through in terms of Clubland. All eyes are on State of Origin tonight. New South Wales looking to keep it alive. We can't wait. Go the Blues, Josh.
Go the Blues. Game 2, bring it on.
You.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.